All right, so Donald Trump there making that motion, zipping his lips, not speaking, which is interesting in and of itself.
And what might be the biggest news out of Donald Trump's New York civil suit that he already lost is that he zipped his lips when asked how it's going. But then later he couldn't help himself.
While inflation is eating our country alive, I'm down here, and these are all political opponent attack ads by the Biden administration. The numbers are much greater than on the financial statement. And we've already proven that. They said Mar-a-Lago's worth $18 million. Mar-a-Lago's worth anywhere from probably 50 to 100 times more than that. And it's a terrible, terrible thing. You have a racist attorney general who made some terrible statements, and we just see some more that came over the wires today. It's a very sad situation for our country. We shouldn't have this. This is for third world countries. And it's very unfair. It's very unfair. But we will go along, and we will hopefully do very well in every regard. We'll win the election, and we'll make America great again. That's what we're going to do. We're going to make America great again. But we have to take away from the thugs that we deal with and the horrible people that actually must hate our country to do this.
Donald Trump got his turn on the witness stand on Monday following his son's testimony last week, and he reportedly took this opportunity to bloviate and filibuster. It's not surprising. And that quickly got under Judge Engoron's skin. And it led to some fireworks between him and Trump's attorney when Trump repeatedly launched into monologues, causing Engoron to repeatedly instruct him to answer the questions he's asked. And after one such exchange, Trump reportedly remarked that he was sure the judge would rule against him because Engoron always does. And Caitlin Collins then reported that Engoron said, "You can attack me, you can do whatever you want, but answer the question." And when Trump dipped back into the well of complaining, the judge reportedly asked his lawyer, Chris Kise, to control Trump or face the consequences. "I beseech you to control him if you can," is what Engoron told Kise. "If you can't, I will. I'll excuse him and draw every negative inference that I can." Then another member of Trump's team, Alina Habba, which we've heard about, was rebuked by Engoron for telling the judge that he was there to hear what Trump has to say. "I'm not here to hear what he has to say. He's here to answer questions," is what the judge replied. And since Habba was told to act like an adult in court, she found some cameras to throw a tantrum in front of.
Coming from the judge who has already predetermined that my client committed fraud before we even walked into this courtroom. I'm not here to hear what he has to say. Then why exactly am I being paid as an attorney, and why exactly are taxpayer dollars being used in this courtroom? And if we don't stop corruption in courtrooms where attorneys are gagged, where attorneys are not allowed to say what they need to say to protect their clients' interests, it doesn't matter what your politics are. Everyone has a right in this country to get up and put a defense. But I was told to sit down today. I was yelled at, and I've had a judge who is unhinged slamming a table. Let me be very clear. I don't tolerate that in my life. I'm not going to tolerate it here. And you know what? You shouldn't either. Because not every American citizen gets a camera and a microphone. Pay attention. Because when you're in court one of these days and you don't have a lawyer that has a microphone and you don't have a lawyer that can go on TV and you've got judges gagging them, what are you going to do?
Listen, if Trump, his sons, and his attorneys want to keep trying to convince everyone that he's getting railroaded in court, they should come up with some new talking points, because those lines of like, it's unfair, and if they can do it to me, they can do it to you, those are exhausted. But probably the most damning thing that was potentially revealed in court on Monday, despite Trump's grandstanding and whining, again, about a ruling that he's already lost, is how he accidentally contradicted last week's testimony from Don Jr. and Eric about how much they knew about the inflated values.
His description of his involvement in these financial statements, and it seems somewhat, from the quotes coming out, like a word salad on the stand. I'll read just some of them for you, Karen. "I thought the apartment was high. We changed it," he said. Earlier, he said he thought that the values were off on his financial statements at times, both high and low. And then he goes on, "I thought 40 Wall Street was very underestimated for its tremendous value." The attorney, the state, Kevin Wallace, one of the attorneys, appeared visibly surprised when Trump said he perceived both high and low valued assets on financial statements.
Really what he's doing is he's saying, I was familiar I looked at the documents. I thought some were high, some were low. That's very different than what Don Jr. and Eric said, right? They were basically saying, well, that was somebody else. I'm not really sure, right? What Trump is saying, no, I knew. I thought this was too high. I thought this was too low. He is admitting here that he was intimately involved in the valuation. I think that is as significant as whatever his answer is of what the numbers are.